I don't necessarily think they know what's going on yet. There's a lot of weird shit going on with this.
I know.
So on September 2nd, which is, of course, just 1 week before he lost his life, Charlie surprised the company by announcing that he was putting together a Doge department.
Turning Point USA is continuing, and it is. I mean, we are so blessed to have more work than we even could ever dream of.
All right, y'all, things just got way crazier with the Charlie Kirk story. Turns out that just days before he was taken out, Charlie called for an audit of TPUSA because of missing funds. And now Joe Rogan is saying this was a 100% staged and planned event with multiple decoys and patsies. And once you start digging into what Charlie was doing right before his death, it all starts to look less like a tragedy and more like a setup. Rogan called out a bunch of details that just don't make sense, especially the way Charlie's TPUSA bosses are now scrambling to hide the receipts. But the receipts are leaking anyway, including a text message exchange 2 days before Charlie's murder, where he complained about his donors pressuring him and pulling money for going against their narrative. So buckle up, because the deeper you go into this story, the harder it is to buy the official lone wolf theory. Something was happening behind the scenes, and Charlie might have been the first one to notice it.
This story is horse. Like, none of these things make any sense to me. Like, you're telling me that this kid who's not military trained, this guy, first of all, how did he get to the roof? How come nobody was looking? How come nobody was like, there's a direct line of sight between where he's sitting and those roofs? You guys didn't check? You don't have a drone? Like, that's insane.
So mainstream media is attacking Joe Rogan for asking questions about the Charlie Kirk case, and they're literally calling him full tinfoil hat just because he's pointing out things that don't add up in the FBI investigation. So asking questions is automatically crazy now because everyone who's paying attention can see the weird stuff, but they want to gaslight you into thinking anyone noticing it is some conspiracy nut. However, Rogan is not backing down, and he just went off on the official story about Charlie's death, calling it horse-ish and hinting there's more going on than the feds are telling us.
And then you find this rifle, and then you say, oh, he assembled it and he reassembled it. Like, okay. If I wish I was a cop, I'd sit in a room like, this story is horse. Like, none of these things make any sense to me. It's all part of the plan. If you want people to lose all faith that anyone is going to solve anything, you add a bunch of, if you're going to kill a guy, you add a bunch of other wacky shit that doesn't make any sense, and you spam it out there at the same time. You leave a gun that didn't do it out in the woods. You do a bunch of shit like that.
You have an old man put his out and yell, I did it, I did it.
Yeah, you get some kid who has a boyfriend who's a furry, and you talk to him on Discord. I think he's a furry. I don't want to disrespect.
I don't know if that's a real thing.
His boyfriend's definitely a guy who became a girl.
I just don't know. Something doesn't add up about that kid.
Something doesn't add up.
It feels weird.
The whole thing feels weird.
Rogan broke down everything that went down on September 10th at Utah Valley University for his audience, and he's asking all the questions that the authorities are refusing to answer. First off, who was that old man, George Zinn, who screamed that he was the shooter and distracted the police? And why was this same man present at other major events?
According to the narrative. Now, let's be real clear. I don't necessarily think they know what's going on yet. There's a lot of weird shit going on with this.
I know.
First of all, there was that one guy who was the decoy. All right, so you got this guy who's an older guy who starts yelling out. Didn't he take his pants down? He took his pants down. This guy was at 9/11. He was at the Boston bombings.
All the hits.
He called in a fake bomb at another place, and then he did this at this thing. Right after, so somehow or another, this guy has the state of mind that the moment someone gets shot, he yells out and says, I did it, and takes his pants down or something like that. I don't know exactly what he did. Then, ready for this? He gets arrested for child right away.
Right after this happened?
Oh, right away. He's in jail for child. Why is that? Well, now you can't interview him.
And then Rogan also questioned if the alleged shooter, Tyler Robinson, was even the guy, and he alleged that Robinson might have been a patsy.
They said that he took it apart and then put it back together again. Shut the fuck up. Do you know how much time it would take to do that if you were highly skilled?
To disassemble a gun.
To disassemble a rifle so that you can get it in a backpack. And by the way, not gonna fit.
Not gonna fit in a backpack.
And then somehow or another reconnects it once he gets off the roof. What? Unless this kid has secretly been training like John Wick for the past 6 months. So this is just a narrative, right?
Yeah.
We watch a guy jump off the roof and then we supposedly find this rifle. So if you can have a guy that's in the audience that's yelling, I shot him, now shoot me, I shot him, now shoot me, and then that guy gets arrested for child charges, like he's like, what is going on here? Like, you're telling me that this kid who's not military trained, this guy, first of all, how did he get to the roof? How come nobody was looking? How come nobody was like, there's a direct line of sight between where he's sitting and those roofs? You guys didn't check? You don't have a drone? Like, that's insane. So he's on the roof, he shoots, he jumps from the roof. He jumps down 14 feet, jumps off of the roof and lands, whether or not he's even the guy who shot him. Maybe he thought he was going to shoot him. Maybe he's a patsy.
But the rabbit hole goes even deeper than that. Rogan's now also backing this theory that Candace Owens has been pushing, and Candace is convinced that if we really want the truth about what happened to Charlie on September 10th, we've got to start before the shooting. What was he doing in the days leading up to it? What shady stuff was going down inside Turning Point USA? Well, here's what Candace discovered. Just days before his death, Charlie announced an audit of TPUSA in an internal memo sent to his employees. This means he was asking for a financial review of where all the money was going and who was getting it.
Then there arrived a moment when Charlie felt that the money was disappearing. He felt that, again, according to sources, that the company was burning through cash too quickly, and Charlie set about finding out why and how this was happening.
Candace shared this memo dated September 2nd that basically told staff it was time to tighten things up.
So on September 2nd, which is, of course, just 1 week before he lost his life, Charlie surprised the company by announcing that he was putting together a Doge department. Yes, a department of government efficiency like Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy had set out to do. Trump won. They got behind him, right? They said, hey, there's a lot of pork. We don't know where this money is going. People are just accepting checks. Again, this is the whole purpose of the Department of Doge. You put us in there and we're going to figure out how all of these bureaucrats are just wasting tax dollars. Really kind of a nice way of saying we're going to conduct an audit of the government, right? That's the only way to look at what Doge was. It's an audit, and then you cut the fat and you see where the money's actually going.
So in this memo that Charlie sent 8 days before his death, he tells his employees that he instructed the chief operating officer of TPUSA to engage in an organizational-wide Doge effort to make TPUSA more efficient and cost-effective. Basically, Charlie built by a foreign registered company called Superfi Technologies Incorporated, and no one can really trace who's behind it. But get this, the fine print allegedly shows these apps are tracking everything: your location in real time, your device IDs, your clicks, your comments, even your political habits. And the names being tied to this are interesting. One of them is Tyler Bowyer, a top TPUSA insider, and Lori Francefee, who just happens to be Erica Kirk's mother. Now, the real question here is, if this Superfi company is foreign registered, where's all that data going? Well, some researchers are saying the trail leads straight to Israel and its intelligence-linked tech firms. So what does that mean? It means that maybe, just maybe, TPUSA was made to look like a grassroots conservative youth movement, but in reality, it could actually be a massive data funnel, turning your private info into someone else's currency. And if you've ever downloaded one of those TPUSA apps, you might already be part of the system. So is this why those billionaire donors were panicking over Charlie changing his views on certain issues and announcing a financial audit? Well, it seems a lot of people believe this might be the case. One user on X wrote, TPUSA is a mass surveillance operation, complete with facial recognition, spyware, and digital tracking. That's the real reason it is so valuable to its donors. This is why they couldn't have Charlie inquiring into the finances. They're selling the personally identifiable information data. And another person added, questioning is how we will get to the truth. I don't know exactly what occurred surrounding Charlie's murder. I just know we are not being told the truth.